Hey, what's up guys? So welcome to my map guide for the map Rush. So we're going to be covering a few things. If you want to skip anything, you can go ahead and check the description box below. I've put annotations up so you can skip to that specific section that you might be interested in. So first off, let's go ahead and cover spawns. I'll be referencing C and A spawn a lot throughout this game, so if you want to remember C spawn real easy, just know that the cars spawn on C spawn. So here are the main spots in the map that you will be spawning. They are highlighted in green. Now here are the alternate spawns for the map. There's one inside the paintball store. There's one inside the little paintball arena. There's a small one near the A side, near the entrance to the paintball arena, as well as one on the tower side of C spawn. Now let's go ahead and move on to the main engagement areas of this map. They're highlighted in red, and you can see they are very vulnerable to getting naded, especially early on into the game. And so I think we should jump in right into those awesome nade spots for early on in the game. So here's going to be a great nade spot if you wanted to get someone off of B flag from the center near the inflatable area. So what you're going to go ahead and do is you want to line your sights up, and you just want to throw a nade right in the center. The easiest way to know which window it is, you see in between those two banners, you just throw right in the center and it'll just lob a nade, and it's very easy to get that in the center right there, just because this acts as a backstop. Also, you can hit this, but sometimes this can get in the way, so if you want to make it easier, just aim a little bit to the left, and that way it'll use this as a backstop, and you can get someone off of the B flag. So this next nade area is going to be from A to C. This would be involving the towers, so I like to call it this and this area right here the towers. And if you are on A side and you want to kill the person in C tower, I would recommend you to not engage and just go and kill them right there, or try to throw a nade right there, because obviously they'll see you, and if they're hard scoping, you'll have a bad time. So what you're going to go ahead and do is actually stand on the outside of it, and what you want to do is aim right next to where the wire actually goes down. You actually have quite a bit of room for error here, but you're going to go ahead and just throw it right there, and it'll go perfectly, and it'll go into the window. And obviously if they're moving, it doesn't really matter, because the nades in this game does exceptionally a large splash damage. If you played Halo, yeah, nades aren't that amazing in Halo. But there's actually a better way to nade. It's a little bit more difficult, but this way they won't actually see the nade coming. Basically, you're going to be lobbing it over them, and then I'll use this as like a backboard. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that. Alright, so here's going to be the better way to nade. It's a little bit more difficult, kind of because there's no real way for me to really show you guys how to angle it. Basically, again, line it up between where that wire kind of dips down, and then just kind of go straight up, and then you can lob a nade. And I'm going to go to third person so we can check it out. And you can see that the nade will actually go over, and it will go, and you can use that as kind of like a backboard. If you go a little bit higher, that's totally fine, and then you can kill them that way. So that nade is a little bit better, but it's a little bit more hard to line up. Alright, now we're going to be going over the opposite one. This is from C to A, and C is a little bit different because it has this little piece of wood here. It gets in the way, so you're going to have to move slightly to the right, and you can see there's a nice little cutout that is pretty much directly in front of it. So what you're going to do is you're going to nade about right there. I would say a good reference point would be about like an imaginary another like corner that would be over here if this thing did extend over there. So you're going to nade, and this one is going to be actually over it. This one's actually easy to go over than actually get it under, simply because this piece of wood is in the way, and you can see that it's just going to use that as a backboard, and then boom, it's going to kill the player that was there. You can actually use this area. You can actually lob it over here. The only problem with it is you're going to also have to jump, simply because that is obstructing the way. However, it is so difficult to the point where I don't even want to show it. It took me so many tries to actually get it, and realistically in a game it's not going to be, you know, too easy to do. So I'd just recommend going over here, because I mean, again, it does go over the wall, and the over the wall is probably the better way to do it, because if you're doing it from here and you jump and throw it, you can get it in the window, but it won't go over it. And I think getting over it is much better, so that they don't see the nade actually coming through the window. So the map is essentially split up into three areas. The first area we're going to cover is basically the center area, and B would be over here in the center of it. Basically this area is pretty much all up for grabs. I mean, you can run a shotguns, SMGs, LMGs, and sniper rifles, but be aware that if you're going to be running a faster class, maybe something like an SMG or a shotgun, there's always going to be people posted up in these windows over here, so be aware. Maybe you want to chuck a nade and you know, get them out of the windows. Also in the very beginning, you know, you do have to have this bus that you can go through, and there's also sometimes a guy posted up here. You can C4 that area pretty easy, just throw it over there and pop it. If you want to, engage maybe in a closer combat, maybe you want to use shotguns and SMGs, I do recommend this area. I'm going to be calling it the inflatable area because all the inflatable cover is on this side. So I will recommend you to go through this side. If you do happen to spawn on this side over here, make sure that you might as well make use of this great cover that you have in this room. Also, keep the glass. Do not shoot the glass. Since the glass is kind of dirty from all the paintballs, it actually kind of helps cover you up, so do not shoot the glass, especially when you are on this side. If you're on this side though, yeah, you want to definitely look over on this side over here. As soon as you come into the room, if you do happen to spawn on this side, make sure you check the window and slowly creep your way up over here. And I do recommend hugging the wall to the left over here, just because sometimes when players are low in health, they do like to hide in this corner, and I will show you it real quick. They do like to hide right here. So this is a very popular area to hide. So you'll occasionally see some people shoot, and then they'll go over here. Maybe they've been shot, they're trying to regenerate their health, they'll go over in this corner, and you can make sure you see them and spot them out before. As far as the high ground area, over here, I would say it's more about the assault rifles and long range, especially early on, because as soon as the game starts, there is sometimes a guy that will go in this little crack over here, and it's very difficult to see, although it is technically kind of hard to see if someone is over there using that barrel as cover. However, since this background over here is nice and brown, or you could say it's light brown, it's a little bit easier to see rather than some guy if they're in here, because that's got that nice green barrel behind it, so it's a little bit more difficult. I would say the player that is in this area slightly has a advantage, but if you're trying to rush over here, they'll have a few seconds where they basically have cover. You can see right now they'll have cover while you're running over here, and they can technically get a shot or two on you before you actually get to your spot. So you can actually use this wall, and then you can crouch and then use this couch, and you can maybe shoot them from there. This area is, I would say, in the very beginning, it's more for long range, but if they already have control over this area, I do not recommend going up, because in most FPS games, having the high ground is always the advantage. So, if someone's rushing up here, like this guy over here with the shotgun, let's see how he does. He's using that cover pretty good over there, but unfortunately he was taken out. What you can do if you're running an SMG, you can try to rush, maybe dolphin dive, and use these tires as cover, but generally what's going to happen is you are going to get shot. If you are using shotgun though, you can definitely protect your guys in the windows over here by just simply watching the back way as well as the front side. If anyone wants to come, you can just, shoot them once with a shotgun, KSG, or that Remington, because let's be honest, M12 and the S12, not so great as far as shotguns go, but yeah. Definitely, if you're running assault rifles and LMGs or snipers, I do recommend going on this portion of the map to my left right now, and then down center you can basically use anything. And if you want more short engagements, I would say this is probably optimal, although there is always, there's a guy right there. There's always someone in this window, so be aware of that if you are coming in on this side. This side, I would say, kind of has a disadvantage simply just because of that window, although you can just rush straight over here and you can technically get pretty good cover as well. So I hope this helps you guys out as far as where you want to start rushing, or what gun you want to use. Keep in mind, this is all just my suggestions for you guys. I mean, hey, by all means, if you want to rush with shotgun over here, you definitely can do it, but yeah, make sure you just try to get to this area as fast as possible, and just use this as cover, and then you can jump out, maybe get a shot out on the guy that's over on the barrel. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over some of the areas people like to camp. We're going to be starting it off on A side, so if you want to use, C4, or you can nade these spots. First off, this area over here, both of the windows, there's one right next to it over here. This is definitely an area that a lot of people like to go to in the very beginning. They like to post up with sniper rifles, LMGs, target finders, all that other good stuff. They like to go straight to that area. And also, right in the very beginning, a lot of players like to go over this barrel, and occasionally you will see people go, and they'll try to rush. If there's no one over there, maybe they'll aim down sights, they'll notice no one is over there. They might hide behind these bricks over here, and they can jump up on top of that chair, and they will just wait for you to walk by, and they will just shoot you as soon as you run by. Let's see if this guy does it. So he's just using the tires as cover, but that's also another spot where players like to camp on A side. Also, this is a very common area that a lot of players like to go to. It looks over that window over there, and it basically watches over the B flag. If you're playing domination, B is right in the center right there, so it's another place that some players like to camp. There's not too many players that like to just go straight in the back, although sometimes I've seen some people that just try to snipe, and they just try to snipe this area all day. But I think it's much more effective if they're trying to snipe to go in perhaps one of these windows, or they can go over here like that gentleman did, but he got sniped. He got killed by that turret over there. Look at that turret! Oh, my turret's so good. It got him. Alright, I guess I killed him. When you're going on A side over here, a lot of players will just go over here. This is really the only campy area that they can really go to. Generally, they won't go over here. It's pretty exposed. Sometimes you'll see some players, if they can make it over here, but the window definitely has superior advantage over it because there's much more ways the player in the window can just simply move out of the way, and this guy is much more exposed because there's also this door that leads to it. So generally, if they're going to be going on the inflatable cover side, they will just be posting up right here, and very occasionally they'll be posting up over here. Now let's go ahead and go over as far as spawning on C, where people like to camp. So first off, when you spawn, there is another high ground area, just pretty much the same as the other side. And there's also this area right here. This area is so good. It's so difficult to see people in this area, and it is a little bit harder to get to because technically the person over here has a line of sight where they can shoot you right before you're able to actually get to cover. So if you're going this way, you can actually use the couch as cover. You can crouch and shoot over that. That's another area. And occasionally people will sit and they'll actually go over here and they'll sit on top of this area with shotgun. That is also very popular. And the next round is starting. Okay, and other areas as far as on this spawn, sometimes players do like to go in here. It's not the best area because it doesn't really look over too much. It doesn't have a great line of sight over the beef area, especially this little hole over here. When you're over here, it's just not as good. I would say it's actually much better to use this tire over here as cover because from right here you can see that window. You can shoot someone that's over there. You also have better line of this window right here, which is another area that's pretty popular. And if you happen to have C4, you can go over here, perhaps throw it over right here and explode it right on their face. So that is also another popular area that players like to go towards. So I hope this helps you guys out. If you're playing against a team and they're kind of camping, you kind of know generally the areas where they will be and you know what to nade in the very beginning. But generally the most popular places are going to be these high ground areas. So if you are going to be rushing, you could technically just rush straight up to the middle, and you can throw a nade, Semtex, or C4 up in these two windows. These are probably the most popular areas, as well as right here. This is a very popular area. The bus, unfortunately, is a little bit harder to hit, but if you have that accuracy with that tomahawk in the very beginning, maybe you can pull it off. Alright, so here's the first line of sight. It's actually on B flag when you're looking at C. So as you can see, you can already see the guy in the very far back. He's just spawning over there. Now the spot is right here next to these barrels. However, it's a little bit exposed, so if you are posting up here, make sure that there is a guy looking on this side because you're very exposed from this angle. But as you can see, this guy over here has no idea what's going to happen to him. You can't even see him unless maybe you are also zoomed in. But it's got this little trash bin over here, and it's kind of difficult to see that guy anyways. So that's a one line of sight. Alright, so the next line of sight is actually to prevent you from getting spawn trapped, and you'll have an advantage on your opponent. So a lot of times when they are pushing out from the paintball store, they will be pushing out over here. Sometimes they'll use this box right here as cover, but they'll basically be looking at C flag over here, or they'll be looking at your spawn, which is basically over here. And what you can do to prevent some of the deaths that will occur is you can actually hop onto this car over here, and you have a great line of sight, and you can actually shoot them. And they won't be looking at you because from their point, there's this huge car in the way. They won't be looking in this direction. Generally, it's going to be over here and right here. And so you'll have an advantage because there's a giant car in the way. Another spot that people like to push really hard on is over here. Sometimes they'll just go over here and they'll just try to kill you as you try to come up and get the high ground. You can use this dumpster. The dumpster will give you pretty good cover, but as you're running towards the dumpster, unless you're going from the backside, even if you're going from the backside, see how this area is still exposed. If you're running until you really get to about the cone, you're pretty much exposed, so it's kind of hard to run to the dumpster. A great spot is actually through the window of this van. You can see it right there. You get a good shot, and they can only really see your head. And it's a little bit difficult for them to see, and I'm going to go ahead and blow this up and show you guys that even if it is blown up, you can still definitely shoot them, and that'll help you out, and it'll give you an advantage. Alright, so the next line of sight is actually for people that are in the bus. So if you know that they're in the bus, perhaps fired or they killed you previously from there, you can actually go around over here and then make your way over to this blue trash, and you can actually hop on to this wooden piece over here, and you can see from their point of view it's very difficult for them to spot you, but you can see them pretty easy. Just got to you know, move over to the right, and there's actually 2 windows in the bus. It's actually pretty easy to spot them in the other window once I go ahead and move the guy over to the other side. So you can see it's still pretty easy for you to see them, but for them to see you it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you just blend in so well with that trash. You can see you can barely even see that head, and even if you do, it kind of does blend in with the rest of the trash. Let's go ahead and go over the areas where you can place the sentry gun. So the first one is one of my favorites over on the Z spawn. That overlooks a lot of the spawn, and they can't actually spawn right next to it and absolutely get obliterated at spawn. The other one I like to put is near A spawn. It's on the corner next to the brick house. I'll be going in depth and showing you guys where these actually are. Another great place is over on B. There's actually 2 towers that you can put it over, or you can put it kind of below the tower, and it basically holds B for you. You don't have to do any work, but these areas will be more exposed, so they'll be killed a lot faster. Another great place is inside the little paintball arena. That is also a great place. However, there's so much cover in it that generally, you know, sometimes people can juke your sentry gun a lot easier. But here's a better view of the high ground area where you can put the sentry gun. You can see it pretty much looks over B, so no one's going to be really capping B. It also controls this top tower, so you can also put the sentry gun over on this side, depending if you control A or C. Keep that in mind as well. Depending on which side you control, is probably the tower that you want to put it up, so it'll watch B and prevent any of the enemies from basically just rushing down straight down the middle. Now you do have to be aware that they can always go on the back way, and they can kind of just flank your sentry gun, but if you do happen to have a sentry gun over here, like I do right now, that prevents them from like maybe getting a full flank, maybe that they're going to go all the way down over here, and then they want to come up and you know, go through the middle. That also prevents them from going anywhere. So this is also a fantastic spot for the sentry gun on this spawn. So here is another optimal spot for the sentry gun. It's just right here in the corner, and basically it looks over this high ground area over here and this spawn over here, and basically anyone that is going through this area. The sentry gun can actually shoot them if they are going. Let's see, where's that line of sight? Right here. So if they're trying to go over here and perhaps go for a flank or just rush down the middle, the sentry gun will take care of them right there as well. Let's go ahead and fast forward, and you'll see the sentry gun going off in a while. It gets a few kills over here. It's a very safe spot for the sentry gun. It's not a very high traffic area for kills, although you know, when they do spawn over here, which they will, you'll see that they will spawn over here, and the sentry gun puts in some work. Oh, there's the hellstorm. Oh, we got 2 kills with the sentry gun. Let's go back for a second, and you can see one guy, I think he just spawned. Did this poor guy just spawn over here? Let's see. Oh, see, he just spawned over there, and what do you know? Oh, another guy just spawned right there. And guy number 1 down, and guy number 2. Oh, is he going to make it out? And no! He was actually, I guess, killed. But sentry gun probably would have done the job anyways. But you can see, basically, the 3 most important spawns to basically control in this map are essentially going to be these 2 right here, and occasionally they will spawn in this area, but there's no good spot to put the sentry gun. I actually do put a sentry gun over here. Oh, there's the sentry gun. So I end up putting 1 sentry gun in here. It's not the best spot. I learned that going for it a little bit more is better, because over here they do happen to have slightly some cover, although there was 1 guy that actually runs down here, and he gets destroyed by my sentry gun right here, but some guy just got destroyed by it. But yeah, if they jump through here and then go to the side, sometimes they can kind of juke the sentry gun because it's kind of slow. But move it forward right here. Basically, you want to cover that window and these 2 doors right there, and then it'll be a fantastic spot. And again, you will probably have to control this area over here in order for it to be more successful, because they can spawn over here and get behind your sentry gun. So yeah, those are the spots for the sentry gun, because I am probably the biggest fan of the sentry gun. It's probably my favorite scorch rate in Black Ops 2, but hope this helps you guys out with placement of sentry gun. Alright, so that's going to go ahead and cover our map guide for the map Rush. Now, I do know that there's tons more of lines of sight, there's tons more of nade spots and other tips for this map, but those are the common ones that people will be going to, so you can use those nade spots and those other lines of sights. If there's any that you think that I didn't mention that are noteworthy, let me know in the comment section below, and I will update this video in the future, and we'll cover some of those other spots. But thanks for watching, have a great day, HD Gaming, signing out.